Mother's Day is just around the corner this Sunday. These days, 67% of moms are also juggling a job outside the home. A new study from Ancestry.com takes a look at working mothers all over the country, and the state with the most working moms just might surprise you. Joining me with more is Michelle Ercanbrack, an Ancestry.com historian. Michelle, thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit about the data that you guys were digging through, because it was 150 years worth. What were you looking to find?
Well, Ancestry.com, in preparation for Mother's Day, was looking through census data of mothers who were employed outside the home to kind of see how over time that's changed and shifted, but also to really take the opportunity to show that every mother is a working mother and to honor them.
Now, South Dakota topped the list of working moms. 79.9% of mothers in South Dakota had a job outside of the home. Why is it such a large percentage there?
Well, it's interesting. That's looking at the census data from 2010. And really, it's showing South Dakota is part of a larger microcosm in the Midwest that has the highest percentage of working mothers in the United States in 2010. And some of the reasons, I mean, obviously, there are a lot of variables that affect that. But really, in 2010, in our modern economy, we get to pick where we want to live. And so we think that women are choosing to live in the Midwest because of things like low crime rates, great school systems, and obviously a lower cost of living.
That's a really interesting observation. Meanwhile, the opposite seems to be happening in the South. There are a lot fewer mothers with jobs outside of the home. What factors are at play there?
Well, in 2010, it's easy to look at the South as maybe being low, but actually their employment rates are similar to the rest of the United States. But that's when you're comparing it to the 1930s, which is the other year or the other decade that we looked at. And in the 1930s, the South has the highest percentage of mothers working outside the home. And we kind of think that that has a lot to do with the fact that that was part of, most people weren't able to earn a living wage in the South during the 30s. This is right when the Great Depression is starting to ramp up. And so more mothers were needing to work outside the home to create a living wage and to survive.
And when you look at the years that you guys studied, just phenomenal growth in women working outside of the home. In 1860, there were 7.5% of women who were working mothers. In 2010, that was up to 67%. What were the most interesting trends to you when you were looking over this 150-year period?
Honestly, the thing that I found to be most interesting was how it was geographical. This is something that over time, there's specific areas that either for need or for choice or for desire have a higher percentage of working mothers. I think one of the things that has contributed to that is in the last 20 years, single motherhood in the United States has increased by 30%. So the single motherhood factor is definitely a big one in looking at mothers or working mothers in the United States. But truly, working mothers, single mothers, all mothers are the unsung heroes of America. And we really just want to get people thinking about how that has affected, you know, the things that we take for granted today.
All right. A really interesting study. Michelle, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.